Hi, my name is Lauren. You're watching Shattered Truth. What I'm about to tell you is something I never imagined would happen in my own home. My husband is a cheater. I'd really appreciate it if you could support me with a like and a subscription. Thank you. So, let's begin. I hold my phone like a confession I never wanted, staring at the photo my friend sent me. My husband's hand is splayed against our kitchen island, the tendons taut the way they go when he thinks he owns the room. Beside him, a woman leans in with a certainty I recognize. Her elbow touches the granite as if she paid for it. The angle is off and low, but the contours are unmistakable. Our bar stools, our fruit bowl, his watch resting where he always drops it. I am halfway through a 3-day spa weekend in Aurora, Colorado, a plan my husband encouraged because he claims I need rest. I end the massage early and sit on a bench in a robe that doesn't belong to me, reading my friend's text, reading it again as if repetition could make it less true. She says he has brought the woman into my house more than once. She says she has evidence. She says she can be waiting there when I arrive if I want to catch them. I tell myself I will not cry in a lobby that doesn't know me. I stand, change, check out, and move with the steady rhythm of someone crossing a line she cannot uncross. My husband runs a marketing consultancy in Denver, and on paper it looks clean. The clients are lean startups with big ideas and bigger decks. The invoices go out on time. The deck templates live in a folder on the desktop labeled with an acronym only he uses. Our lives settled into a system he pitched as rhythm. Travel for him, home for me, dinners when the calendar allows. He says routine scales better than passion, and I let that sentence sit between us like a neutral object. I manage the house in Aurora and the operations we don't name, appointments, returns, schedules, reminders. He calls this support. I call it the invisible list. The woman in the photo fits his world. Her hair looks styled by someone who hits the exact center of what passes for effortless. Her posture suggests she learned how to enter a room before she could drive. On my rideshare back, the driver asks a polite question about my day, and I answer with the kind of vague half-sentence people accept because they want to be kind. My friend, Allison, keeps sending me small details like breadcrumbs I want to bat away and collect at the same time. The car turns onto our street while I rehearse the simple fact of walking into my home without announcing myself. I step through my own front door and recognize the balance of air and silence that announces he is not home. My body has a map of this space, and the map tells me the entryway hasn't been rushed, the shoes on the mat are mine, the faint hum in the walls belongs to the fridge. I drop my bag where I always drop it and walk directly to the kitchen island. A fine smear on the stone catches the light. I drag my fingertip across it and feel nothing, but I know it was wiped recently. The fruit bowl has been rearranged in a way I never do. The apples sit on top of the bananas, not under them. I move to the sink. The sponge is still damp and warm. The trash bin slides out with a soft glide. Inside, an empty bottle of sparkling water I do not buy. I take a photo the way my friend did. I am not proof gathering as a game. I'm telling myself that action makes sense you can hold. Allison messages that she is parked at the corner. She saw the woman leave with my husband an hour ago. She wants instruction. I text back that I need a minute inside my own walls before I step into anyone else's plan. I walk the path I walk when I'm resetting the house. The guest bathroom mirror holds a faint arc where someone wiped away steam with a towel. The hand towel hangs on the wrong rung. The hallway air feels moved. In the bedroom, the duvet lies flat in the way he never learns to smooth. He once joked that I make the bed like a hotel. Today, the corners are perfect and impersonal, which means he took care to erase himself, or someone else took care to erase her. I checked the nightstand drawers because people who clean in a hurry forget to rotate what they put back. The charger cable lies on top. coiled with the precision I do not practice. In the laundry room, the hamper holds nothing. The washer door is ajar, as if it had a recent reason to breathe. Inside the drum, one blonde hair clings to the rubber lip. I do not have blonde hair. I touch it and feel the terrible intimacy of a stranger's presence shining on the most ordinary surface in my home. I drop it into the trash and feel the wrongness of doing anything that hides anything. I fish it out and scotch tape it to a page from a notepad. This feels absurd and also like strategy. My phone buzzes with a calendar invite forwarded by my husband's assistant. He is hosting a casual client mixer this evening at a lounge downtown. The invite went to the house email we share for deliveries and contractors, the one that catches overflow. The time starts in an hour. I open our home office and wake up the laptop he leaves locked with a pin I know because he once said, "Transparency builds trust." His desktop is cleaner than usual. A folder labeled Q3 Prospects has a timestamp from this afternoon. Inside, a presentation with slides titled Target Funnel, Growth Levers, Retention Loop. The words are so neat they make me nauseous. Another folder sits next to it labeled Fragrance, which is not his language. I click. A single PDF opens with price lists and brand names not on letterhead. It reads like a collection, a boutique inventory, a side hustle dressed in serif. The sender line in the PDF's metadata is a name I don't recognize. The name matches the woman Allison remembers from a previous sighting, not the one from the photo. So there are at least two. I close the laptop as if it can bite. The mixer feels like a choreography I did not agree to. I text Allison to stay parked, stay ready. I tell her I will go downtown. I will not announce myself. I will stand where he cannot not see me. I change into simple clothes that flatten me into the kind of presence that doesn't draw questions. I wear the shoes I can stand in for hours without thinking. I bring nothing that jingles. The lounge downtown has a cut of light I can spot from a block away. I move along the sidewalk in the same steady rhythm I used to cross the lobby at the spa. I enter and note the way bodies arrange themselves when they feel observed. My husband stands in a knot of founders, his hands directing traffic across a small constellation of faces. Next to him, a woman whose silhouette matches the low angle of the kitchen photo rests her hip against a banquette. Not touching him, every line of her announcing how close she can be without crossing. I choose a column near the bar and become part of the wall. He sees me quickly because he sees everything. His eyes recognize me and a frame I have never belonged to. For a fraction of a beat, his face loses structure. Then the smile reassembles the way you put a lid back on a container and claim nothing spilled. His assistant opens a path through people and lands beside me with earnest volume about how glad she is to see me. I let her words wash across the surface. The woman near him glances my way and looks down at her phone as if phones can rescue anyone. I do not move toward him. I scan the room for cameras and corners. I am not here for a scene. I am here to collect the shape of his other life with my own eyes.
He pivots away from his cluster and engages a man in a blazer whose name tag reads something generic. His face, now angled, gives me the profile I know. The woman slips into the space he vacated and crosses to the bar. My husband receives a drink from a server and places it on a high table, then sets down a second glass from nowhere beside it. He makes room for an absence that is practiced. His hand reaches for his phone. He glances at the screen and raises his chin by a millimeter, sending a signal to someone I cannot see. The woman at the bar responds by shifting her shoulders in a way that mirrors him, a gesture learned through repetition. I realize I am watching a language they wrote together, a private syntax conducted by motion. The realization lands with a weight I can stand under and still hate. Allison texts that she can come inside if I want reinforcement. I tell her to hold. I pull my phone under the lip of the column and record a 10-second video. His chin lift, her shoulder shift, the second glass waiting for a ghost. I am past caring about elegance. I am assembling a map.
I do not confront him here. Scenes like this devour context and feed gossip, and I refuse to stage my pain for witnesses who came for appetizers. I exit through a side door and angle my body along the exterior of the building to the service entrance. People smoking step aside because purposeful movement clears space. I reach the alley where rides collect and disperse. I call Allison and tell her to meet me at the front of our street in 20 minutes. I assemble a simple, ruthless plan. Set the house the way it always is. Leave the front door unlocked. Sit in the chair by the hallway with the angle that shows anyone entering the living room first. Text him a neutral detail about a package he might want to see. Wait for him to bring her like an offering to a room he assumes he controls. The plan relies on nothing more complicated than his habit. He will default to the quickest way to feel powerful, which is always proximity to the stage he built, our home. Allison asks if I want her inside. I ask her to stay in the car with the engine running and eyes open. She nods into the phone like I can hear it. I request a ride and feel my pulse count off the blocks the car will pass. I do not change. I do not add anything to my face or subtract anything from my posture. I am arriving as myself because that is the sharpest instrument I own. I step into my house and reset what I moved. The fruit bowl goes back the way I keep it. The bathroom towel folds along my line. The duvet opens in a way that shows use without surrender. I place the blonde hair in a small resealable bag and set it in the kitchen drawer where the batteries live. I put my phone on the coffee table and open the camera to record with the screen dark. I do not want to turn evidence into theater. I only want to calculate reality later without arguing over memory. I send him a text about a missing charger delivery with the tracking number he complained about last week. He replies instantly that he's on his way. He adds a half sentence about bringing a proposal to go over because it will be easier in person. I assume I am home and still pliable. I sit in the hallway chair, angled toward the living room. My breathing finds a pace that feels measured enough to build a scaffold inside my chest. Allison texts that she is parked where we agreed. She writes that if I do not message in 10 minutes, she will knock. I tell her to wait for my name on the screen. The front door opens with the soft click he thinks disguises the entry. He says my name in that bright tone he uses when he wants to pretend a plan is a surprise. He steps into the living room with his keys already outstretched toward the bowl I placed on the console when we married. He stops when he sees the tilt of the hallway chair. The woman follows a step behind, and she halts when she feels the air change in a way even she understands. I do not stand. I look at both of them. Then I look at the second glass he has carried from the lounge because he brought the ritual home. He places it down as if setting it gently on the table will soften anything. I speak with a voice pitched for clarity, not volume. I state what I saw. I state the repetition. I state the house. I keep the sentences short enough to land without wobble. He slides his hands into his pockets, which is his tell for buying time. The woman squares her shoulders like someone using posture as armor. I say the plan was predictable. I say the choreography has been practiced in my kitchen. I say the towel rung. I say the hair. I list with a cadence that makes it impossible for anyone here to call this confusion or imagination. He tries to shape the air with reassurances that rely on heat. I refuse heat. I stay cold and present. I tell him Allison is parked outside. I tell him she will call the woman a ride if I ask. I tell him he has 2 minutes to choose the next clear move. He looks at the woman, and that is his choice. She moves toward the door with the kind of dignity someone wears when a mirror appears in a room they thought had none. He and I stand in a room where nothing has moved except the certainty I now occupy. He asks if we can talk. I say we can, but only in sentences that stack into a plan. I lay out what will happen next with bullet points in my head.
Counseling if he wants to understand the hole he dug and how to stop calling it a tunnel. Financial transparency that is not performative but literal. Passwords in a document shared with legal and copied to me. Separation if he treats any of this as theater. I record every agreement with the same neutral tone I used to read the tracking number. He nods in a pattern that tells me he hears the words and not the weight. I tell him that weight is the only part that matters, because weight is how things hold. I gather the evidence I collected and set it on the island. The hair in the bag, the video of the lounge gestures, the guest towel's wrong fold caught in a photo. I do not threaten, I do not bargain. I state that this is my house and I will not abandon my belonging because he mistook my steadiness for surrender. He looks smaller in the place he insisted on filling. He asks if he should sleep elsewhere tonight. I say yes. I say we can schedule the rest tomorrow. I say I will message him the list of documents. He walks to the door, pauses as if pausing could build a bridge he refused to build before, then leaves. Allison comes in after 2 minutes and wraps her presence around the room without touching anything. She says my name with a kind of gentleness I allowed to enter exactly 1 inch past my skin before I set it down in the same careful way I set down every other object tonight. I lock the door, return the fruit bowl to its place again, sit in the hallway chair until my breathing sends a signal to my spine, and decide that the next life begins in the house I refuse to leave.